Attention football fans, the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup has begun, and here are the details. Welcome guys, welcome my people. I'm Selassie and I'm just a guy who loves women's football. So as we are aware, the Under-20 Women's World Cup has begun in Colombia, and currently, we've had some exciting matches. So let's just dive into the first round, which is the first game that's the first games of the group stages, and we have some interesting things coming up. So make sure you stay tuned. If you know this is your first time coming to this channel, make sure you hit subscribe, share the video, and of course comment your thoughts below. And hey, let me know who you think is going to be the world Under-20 champion. But so let's just have so before we begin, let me just get you some interesting facts about the tournament that we have first. So this tournament is the first time that they've expanded the teams to 24 teams. So this is the first time that they'll be having 24 teams playing in there, because the FIFA has done that expansion, which means we have more teams coming in. Also, because of the expansion, we have quite a number of debutants, but this year we just have 4 debutants in there. So we have the likes of Fiji, the likes of Austria, the likes of Morocco, and the likes of Cameroon. This also means that this is the first time that we have 2 African teams debuting in this tournament at the same time. So yeah, it's a very interesting day for Africa, because we have 2 new African teams who are there, obviously due to the expansion regulations and all. But aside that as well, because of the expansion and because of the debutants, this now also means that we have a total of 39 different countries that has been represented in the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup history. So since the inception to date, we've had a total of 39 countries who will be playing, or who has played in this tournament, and that's quite good. But hopefully we get more debutants as we move along the way. So let's just go into day one. So day one started brilliantly, right? So the first game of the tournament was between Cameroon and Mexico, and it was quite an interesting game because Cameroon were trailing in the first 40 minutes. They were already 2 goals down, and they had to push and push and push. But in the dying minutes, that is when they came back in the second half. Their captain, who was who was the leading scorer in the qualifier stage, which is the name of Naomi Eto'o, had to step up when the team needed her the most. So she gave us some 2 bangers. You can watch all the highlights on FIFA's YouTube. For copyright reasons, I can't post it here. You know that. So yeah, so that is what is happening. We went into concurrently there was a game between Canada and France that was also going on, and that game was also like a back-to-back. By the way, the Cameroonian game ended 2-2, so kudos to Cameroon for fighting to get a point on the first game. And in the game between France and Canada was also quite intensive, because these are 2 big countries in terms of WOSO, or women's football heritage. These are countries that has some sort of heritage. So it was like an end-to-end game. Eventually, France was leading by 3 goals to 2, and out of nowhere, just when you least expect it, but for me, I didn't really least expected it, Annabelle Chukwu had to rescue a point for Canada in the injury time of the game. And the game ended 3-3, so that shows that these 2 teams were really serious as an all. And talking about seriousness and all, so one of the debutants also played on the first day as well, which was Brazil going against Fiji. So Fiji was a debutant. Unfortunately, Fiji, yes, they are debutants, and Brazil really dominated that game. Brazil netted 9 times. They scored 6 in the first half and scored 3 in the second half. They netted 9 times, and it was quite devastating. But Fiji, this is a learning experience for you, and If you are from Fiji, let me know how you felt. Obviously, if it were me, I'll really be sad. Watching my country lose to Brazil by 9 goals to 0. But anyway, yeah, so it was quite a disaster for Fiji, but it was, I mean, a festival for Brazil. What can we say? And then the home nation, Colombia, had to take on Australia. So Australia, the young Matildas, they took on Colombia, and the game was quite cagey. I mean, I think Australia got a goal, but then it was ruled out as offside, and then they took Colombia took the lead as well. And I mean, the game was quite interesting. And yes, oh my God, the Colombian fans, you guys are superb, and you guys are still superb. And I really love how they turned up for their team. And as expected, poster girl Linda Caicedo had to score one goal in the 80 plus minutes to make it 2-0 and secure all maximum points for the host nation. And I mean, I was elated, everybody was elated, and I mean, someone tweeted at me that it's a cheat that she's still playing. I mean, Linda Caicedo, but come on, Linda is still 19. I mean, if there was even a World Cup next year, she was still being qualified to play, you know. But yeah, Linda Caicedo, top talent, and she's a captain of the side. She's also hoping to captain her team to victory and also ultimately lifting the trophy in her home ground, being is that this could probably be her last and final under 20 Women's World Cup. So we move on to day two, and the two had a very, I mean, it was like a clash of titans. So the first game, which was between the holders, which is the current champion Spain, they went against USA, and Spain scored an early goal in the eighth minutes of the game, and miraculously they were able to hold their breath all throughout the game, and the game ended 1-0, meaning Spain secured all 3 points, which was quite impressive because they needed that game against USA because their group was quite a tough group. And I'll put up the group at the end of the video, and you get to see how the groups are shaping up after match day one. So we move on to after the game as well. Concurrently, Germany were playing against Venezuela as well. So it looks like this year they were playing two group games concurrently. Two group games concurrently. So like if Group A, two teams in Group A are playing. Like if there's a game in Group A, Group B, another set is playing at the same time. So I think that's a set. So it means you have to watch one match and go and watch a repeat of the other one. Unless you have two screens, I only have one screen, so I can only watch one match. But that is what is happening. And Germany defeated Venezuela by 5 goals to 2. Expected was, I mean, was a flying start for them as well. And then the second time, the second African nation also got a chance to play, which was Nigeria. So Nigeria went against South Korea or Korea Republic, and the game was quite boring, honestly. Like everything was just slow. I mean, felt like they were all, but you could see that South Korea had a game plan. Nigeria were just trying to beat them and use physicality to beat them, but the game went all the way until the 86th minute. And my God, Sebastiani, what a strike! What a strike! I don't know whether she was crossing or she was shooting, but man, that goal is actually in contention for goal of the tournament. Honestly, because that was a brilliant placement, and that one goal secured maximum points for Nigeria, and they became the first African nation in this tournament to secure maximum points at this level. So it was quite a good start for the Africans as well. But whilst Nigeria was playing, then other debutant was also playing, which was Morocco. However, Morocco, I don't know what happened, but they lost 2 goals to 0, and I mean to Paraguay, yeah. And Fatima Acosta, I mean, netted, got a brace, one from an open play and one from a penalty. And unfortunately, Morocco had to fight in their next game, and hopefully they might be hoping to see if they can cause certain upsets like their senior team did in the senior edition of the World Cup in Australia last year. Now, the third and final day of the match day one, or let's say the round one of the group stage, and motherland, Ghana. Hey, hey, Anyway, so Ghana, 7 times appearing in this tournament, went against Austria, which were another debutant. So at this time, at this stage, it means that all the debutants had played their games and none of them has won a game, right? And Austria, this was a game that everybody knew that Ghana has to win, because the group that Ghana is in, the next game is quite tough. But we'll talk about that when we are approaching that. So let's just talk about this game. So Ghana started the game with no sense of urgency. Like, I mean, you had a team where you don't know whether they should press. The players didn't know whether they should press or not to press. They virtually just gave the ball out of possession almost every time. When they get a ball, it's just a long pass, and there was no plan. It seemed like they had no game plan at all. The coach made some terrible decisions, playing players out of position, starting the players that were not supposed to start, and benching the players that were supposed to start. I mean, the team that was the core team that helped you to qualify to this tournament, the team that actually went through the qualifying stage unscathed, 21 goals in 6 matches, conceded 2. You come to the big stage and then everything is in shambles. But kudos to the Austrian team, because they came in with a purpose. They knew what they wanted, and I believe that probably when they came in, one of their motives was to get their first, because they are their first win, right? Because they are also debutants, and they want to also get their first win of a Women's World Cup. Because Austria came in with a very brilliant game plan. You could see that when they got the ball, they had intentions, they knew what to do with the ball, and when they were out of possession, they knew how to. They pressed really well to get the ball back. But I couldn't say same for my motherland. You could see you had Tracy Toom, who is a striker. The defenders have a ball, and then they are just standing there. And then she is also standing there waiting for them to start play. Meanwhile, they have the ball. You can go and press and get the ball. Force them, force some errors, and see what we can get out of it. No, she's standing there waiting. Like, what? What's the meaning of this? And this is the team that we are all hoping that this time around, this is the 7th time. The 7th time is a charm, if that's even a saying, that they are going to qualify to the knockout stages. And of course, looking at the formats, it actually gives room for Ghana to also qualify. But I mean, people will say it's the first game, but trust me, if you lose a match like this, playing like this against Austria, which on paper was not the best team in the group, and you lose, you played messy football, no game plan at all, and they went down by the 12 minutes. And when they saw that things were not good, I was saying they're not trying to be urgent and all that. And the coach, like I said, made terrible decisions, because how can you see players who you've played out of position, players who are actually in position but are messing things up, and you allowed it to continue until 70 plus minutes when you've conceded a second goal? What's the meaning of this? And by the way, the only positive in the Ghana team was Stella Nyameche. And for me, it wasn't a surprise, because I mean, she was born to shine. I'm so glad that she was able to make it to this tournament, and I'm really excited for her future. She was literally carried the team on her back. But I just hope that Ghana will not make those decisions in the next game against Japan, because if you play like what they did, I'm sorry, we are going Ebefie, Japan also just hit. Japan, they're not serious though. So Japan met New Zealand, and they decided that this is the time that they will actually pour their anger on them because they missed out on the trophy last edition. I mean, I think Spain knocked them out in the semi-finals, and then they went on to, is it win or lose that? I think they went on to play the third and fourth. I think they won. Yeah, so they won the bronze medal in that tournament, and it looks like they are in for a retribution. So they poured all their anger on New Zealand and scored New Zealand by 7 goals. And all those goals were assisted. So that should tell you how incredible the team is. Korean DPR, which is what people will call North Korea, also made a huge win against Argentina by scoring 6 goals. Wow. So Korea beat Argentina, which is North Korea. They beat Argentina by 6 goals to 2. In Ghana, Quebec is 6-2, CA 2-2, 6-2, CA 2-2. Oh my god. This is serious. But anyway, overall the tournament has been good. I like the coverage. I like the acceptance that the Colombians have. And oh, let's not forget the way the Colombians welcome each team at the airport. They welcome them when they were entering the hotel. It was so phenomenal. And I absolutely love the Colombian culture. Maybe I should visit Colombia one day. At the point of recording this video, so round 2 has already started, and we had some results, but we'll talk about them in the next video. So make sure you stay tuned to this channel because we're going to bring you all the updates that is happening in Colombia right here on this channel. Comment your thoughts below. Let me know how you feel, if your country represented, if you are not your country being represented, maybe there's a country that you like that is in there. Let me know how you feel about the teams being there as well. Oh yes, and I think I forgot one game. Yeah, so Netherlands, hey, before they killed me. Yeah, so Netherlands also won the last game of round 1. They won against Costa Rica by 2 goals to 0, and that was how the round 1 was wrapped up. And so the game continues later today as well, and we'll have some other African nations who will be in action. Thank you all for staying with me. Let me know who you think is going to win this year's World Cup, and let me know which country you are supporting, and anything about the World Cup, just talk about it in the comments below, and I'll be there in the replies to reply you the best possible way possible. So until I see you in the next video, I'm Selassie. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at SNWomenFootball. Follow me on TikTok at SNWomenFootball, and subscribe here on YouTube at SNWomenFootball. So see you in the next video. I'm Selassie, and I'm just a guy who loves women's football.